the one, the only, Ben Sion. Good evening and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube Daily Double. Today we're doing Mesechus Pesachim, Perek Tet, Mishnayos Chet and Tet. Mishnah Chet states, "HaPesach shenasara b'zvachim, kulan yiru ad sheyistavu. V'yimakru v'yavi b'dmei ha'yafesh b'henu min zeh, v'dmei ha'yafesh b'henu min zeh, v'yafzed ha'mosar mibeso." Let's say you have a Karban Pesach. He designated as a Karban Pesach. Got mixed up with other animals, with a Karban Ola and a Karban and an Asham. So you have an Ola, a possible, you have three animals. One is an Ola, one is an Asham, one is a Pesach. You don't know which is which. So you can't bring a Korban because there's different halachas about each of the Karbanos. Ola is completely consumed on the Mizbeach. A Pesach is eaten by you. An Asham is eaten only by Kohanim. So you have to figure out which is which. You can't bring any of these Karbanos. But Hektish has the right to the best animal. Let's say one of the animals was worth $200, one's worth $100, one's $50. So you have to basically take $200 for each animal, $600, right? Even though the animals together were only worth cumulatively $350. You have to separate $200 for each animal, meaning a $200 animal for all of them. And you have to wait till all these animals get a mum. Now they can be redeemed. Then you redeem the money. You redeem them on the animals worth $200, and the extra $250 you have to pay for it, to pay for those, because you can't be mafzed hektish. We have to assume every animal could have been the better animal. The Sarah of Bechoros. Let's say the Pesach I marry with a Bechor. Reb Shimon Omer Chaburas Kohanim Yelchelu. He says in this case you don't have to wait till it gets a mum and redeem it, because technically you could bring it. A Bechor is very similar to Karban Pesach. Why is a Bechor similar to Karban Pesach? Because a Bechor only has one Nesinas Dam on the Mizbeach. You put one drop of blood on the Mizbeach, and that's okay, that's sufficient. Even though a Bechor is eaten by Kohanim, if the Chabura over here that's bringing the Karban Pesach is Kohanim, so they have no problem, right? Doesn't matter whether it's a Pesach Bechor. Now, there is a slight difference, that a Pesach is only eaten until Chatzos, and a Bechor can be eaten for 2 days and 1 night. So you're bringing kachim on the base of Absul. You're limiting the time to eat this kachim. That's okay according to Rebbe Shimon. Rebbe holds there's no problem with eating kachim on the base of Absul, but we don't pass on the Rebbe Shimon. We hold there is a problem, so therefore you have to do just like in the first case where one was an Ola, one was an Asham, and one was a Pesach. Ted Chabura she'avad Pischa, a group that lost their Karban Pesach. They said, there were 10 people in the group, they said to another person, go find an animal, go find a nice lamb, and shecht it for us. They appointed him as their shliach to shecht for them. He found an animal and shechted it. They said, you know what, I don't know if this guy's going to actually get the Karban Pesach. We'll buy our own animal, these 10 people, and shecht the Karban Pesach. If he was able, we go back in time and we record when did you shecht it. He shechted the animal first. Who ochel mishal? He obviously eats from his animal. They appoint him as a shliach for them. The animal is shechted first. So before they had a chance to shecht the second animal, this animal is shechted on their behalf. So they joined together. However, if their animal ended up being shechted first, they eat their Karban Pesach. And he eats his. Why? Because you can refrain, even though you decide to designate yourself to eat from a Karban Pesach, I can be Moshech Yadav, I can remove myself. So therefore, when they appointed him, but then they decided to buy their own Karban Pesach, so as long as theirs was shechted first, they're with that. And he was shechted on his own accord, he's separated from them, so he's going to go with his Karban Pesach. Let's say you don't know which one happened first. Or they was almost simultaneous. You can't be exactly simultaneous, but it was basically simultaneous. The point is you can't figure out which one happened first. Now he gets to eat his Karban Pesach because he's always intent. He was a shliach. He had in mind to go for this Karban Pesach that he bought. They can't eat with him because maybe their Karban Pesach that they removed themselves from his Karban Pesach. They went to a different Karban Pesach. Maybe theirs was first. However, the one they shechted can't be eaten because it's possible that his was shechted first, and they're joined with him on the first Karban, and this one is a Pesach without any owner, without any people designated on it, and it has to be burnt. However, even in this case, they're patur lasas beis sheni because no matter what happens, they offer a Korban Pesach, right? If their animal was shechted first, so they were yotzei with that one. Now you can't eat it, but that's not ma'akiv. Eating the Korban Pesach is not ma'akiv. The fact that it was rikas dam was from the mizbech, that's good enough. And if it wasn't shechted first, the shliach was shechted first, they're yotzei with that one. He eats it. They can't eat it, but he eats it. But you're yotzei because it's rikas dam. We'll talk more Iyam Mitzion on why rikas dam is enough. Amar lahen ima acharti su v'shachtu alai. So he basically says there's a group of Kohanim. They lost their, not Kohanim, a group of people. They lost their Korban Pesach. He says, I'm going to go search for a Korban Pesach. If I come back too late, you go and shecht another Korban Pesach. And have me in mind. Halachu matzah v'shachat. He went and found a Korban. Hein lachu v'shachtu. They also went. They realized he delayed. So they went and searched for their own Korban Pesach. Im shalahen nishchat rishon. If they ended up shechting it first, hein ochlim nishchat. They ate there first. Because again, they didn't make him the shliach over here. In the first case, they made him the shliach. They didn't make him the shliach. He basically made them a shliach, right? He has to eat with them because he said, if I come back too late, I want to be yotzei with yours. And theirs was first. It was too late. However, if his was shechted first, he eats his, right? Everything was very nice. He said, if I'm late, but he wasn't late. He shechted it first. There was ambiguity. We don't know which one was shechted first. They get to eat theirs because they never appointed a shliach. He can't eat with them because maybe his Korban Pesach was shechted first. His can't even be consumed because it's possible that he withdrew from it and was their Korban was shechted first, and his Korban Pesach has a Korban Pesach without owners, has to go be burnt. However, he's patur m'lasas Pesach sheni. Right? Because no matter what, a Korban Pesach was done for him. Amar lahen v'amru lo ochlin kula min harishon. If they both made each other shliach, he said, right, if I come back too late, shecht for me. And they also said, you go and shecht for us, right? They eat whatever one shechted first. They eat ochlin kula min harishon, right? They each made other shliach. So they basically wanted, whichever one is first, we're all going to eat together from it. If there's ambiguity, in this case, both of them have to go Beis Shreifa because they each made other shliach. So if theirs was the second one, there's no bailim on the first one. If no one made each other a shliach, they're not connected to each other. The person that shechs his Korban, the one person that shechs his Korban Pesach, that's for him, no matter which one happened first. And they are yotzei with their Korban Pesach. Stay tuned for Iyam Mitzion, where I discussed, this came up before, basically that the achila of the Korban Pesach is not ma'akim in terms of making a Pesach sheni. Right, you're patur from doing Pesach sheni as long as there was a Pesach rishon offered on your behalf. The zrikas done on your behalf, even though you didn't eat from it. We'll talk about why that's true. Iyam Mitzion coming up next.